If you're running a small business or a consultancy, there's a good chance you've heard and probably dabbled a little bit with ChatGPT. But most people at this stage barely scratch the surface. In this video, I'll show you how to turn on your memory, use projects and canvases, and get the most out of ChatGPT as a real business tool, not just a chat assistant. These features give you continuity, context, and a way to build systems that grow with you. My approach is different from a lot of typical YouTuber and demos. These are going to be short, strategic, and focused on real transformation, not hype. All right, I'm doing a series of videos now, and they're really targeted. The overall theme of the work I'm doing is AI transformation for small businesses, maybe employees under 20. A lot of my content is directed towards executives within these businesses. My approach is going to be a little bit different than what on a lot of the YouTube stuff that has to do with AI transformation. The videos that you're going to see from me are first going to be like a concept video. For example, I've got this one pulled up here from YouTube. These videos are going to normally be a couple minutes in length. They're going to be in this format where we talk about tangible tools. Tell that guy to be quiet for a second. So these videos are designed so I can present a concept. This video is a follow-up to a concept video, and it gives you some insights as to how to use these tools. So my intent is to be addressing these ideas and concepts to executives, those that are considering starting to use maybe ChatGPT for business, or maybe using a little bit, and now we're getting intrigued with what are some of the implications of AI automation. Ultimately, I'd like to keep progressing this education to the point where small business owners are looking at transformational potential. What we'll do here is when you go into ChatGPT, you're going to always, let's just go back up here. So when you enter, it's, okay, what do you want to know? Now, what most people do is they're going to start in this area right here and maybe ask some questions and do some follow-up questions. I'm going to point out something a lot of people don't understand. We'll go into settings. Take a look at this. These are worth knowing a little bit about, but the intent of this one is I want to show you something about personalization. Now, check this out. So if you're using ChatGPT, one of the reasons that it doesn't have a memory is so that it protects your privacy, but you have an option to turn memory on. And what that means is now everything that you're doing within these chats, if we scroll down, most of us have a series of chats. Turning on the memory, it means that kind of the feedback that you might be giving and what GPT or ChatGPT is learning through your interactions, they're remembering it. If you haven't turned that on, then what you'll find is that there is no context. There is no frame of reference. Now, there's two things that I want to introduce. Now, one, very briefly, and that is we have our custom GPTs. A custom GPT is intended so there is context, questions or projects you're asking by creating context. If we look here, we can see that within a GPT, we can give it a title and a set of instructions. So that means that if you're trying to write an article or research and come up with different angles, whatever it might be, you can give it instructions here. As you evolve your prompts and get more savvy on how to do that, you'll start seeing even greater impact. The GPT is going to start speaking in your tone, being more consistently delivering the kind of information that you're looking for. That's Custom GPT. In this video, a follow-up to the concept video is how you can, and let's go back here. So now what we're going to look at is projects. Now, what is a project? So my business is Beyond the Hedge. So I'm going to go to Beyond the Hedge. Now, I mentioned that a custom GPT is where you can put files, project files, contextual information, and write instructions. If I'm in a custom GPT and ask a question in that chat that's in this custom GPT will actually appear in your normal kind of series of chats. It won't be grouped as a carousel post of members' work, which is what this GPT happens to be. With projects, when I post a chat here, those chats will be here periodically. You might go, okay, I don't need that chat any longer, and you can delete it or move it to another project. You might have an archive project to keep some stuff. Here's how it works. What's cool is I have, using ChatGPT primarily, I've created a series of documents like strategy and operations. I'm making a shift from not just being a tech builder, but more of an orchestrator. So this is more of a shift, a bit of a pivot that ChatGPT helped me orchestrate. And there may be times where I want information within this document to be used. But you can see here that I've got a number of different documents. When I'm trying to learn something, I want to create a simplified framework companion with my Airtable Kanban. I'm using Airtable and have a Kanban the way I'm managing my project. So what I've done here is we can have a chat, and you'll see that within this chat, I've posed some questions. I go into detail on what I'm trying to accomplish. I'm going to introduce something called a canvas. So I have this chat referring to instructions I've put in here that relate. It tells the chat something about my business, keeps everything in context. And then, as already noted, you can have videos, any type of file. I think of it as a small language model. All the learning is here, continuing to play off of what you've done. Often you may go back and update some of the contextual and prompt information. So you have a series of things here. If I go back, you can create projects. I can close the folder within this project. If I stay here, I'll see a few chats. If I open it up, we'll have all of the chats. You can take a project. In this case, this is the foundation for my business. I've got a project for content. I have a good one here that I like, automation building. I can go here, open that up, AI automation. I've got instructions on what I'm trying to accomplish. I suggest you do two things. In settings, turn on your memory or turn it off if you don't want it on, but there's some benefits in turning it on. And then the next thing to do is we'll get into the custom GPTs that we have up here. Here we have our GPTs. I've got a number of them. What I'd like for you to do is just go into this side column and you'll see project, and then just set up a simple project to get started. Maybe there's a challenge or strategy you're trying to develop, and create a project around that. And what I like to do is I literally will go in to this project and I'll say right up here, help me write the instructions. Then I might talk about a number of things that I'm interested in. Then once I've done that, I'll have a chat with those recommendations. And then I can continue to refine that one. Then once I think these instructions or this prompt looks pretty good, let's see how it works. Then I'll just copy everything. If we're in the canvas view, It makes it easy to copy. So if I copied and I was working on instructions, I'd copy and paste what I created within the project. As you progress, maybe a project lasts for some time, then you can keep building other documents. I have learned, and I think these things continue to evolve, but if you get overloaded with lots of different files, you're not always going to get the same kind of quality insight. There may be times where you call out a specific document. Part of your instructions in a new chat is refer to this document, this PDF, and you give the name. And then that way you're probably going to get a better result because it's more focused. So that's the introduction. That's a fairly detailed dive into how to set up your ChatGPT, a comparison between custom GPTs and what I've introduced here as projects and canvases. Now I've opened a canvas. You can continue within your canvas putting additional information in and go back and forth like a normal chat stream. In the canvas view, I've got things I'm working on, all part of a table. Let's go someplace else. In Canvas, you can take a look at automations we may want to build that can do within Canvas is drill on that specific area and go. So it doesn't make that much difference, or it's not that important here, but it's a client meeting reminder. If I want more detail about this specific line item, or I have a question about it within the canvas, I can use this feature of editing right within the canvas. And that's the other nice thing about it. Not only can I ask questions here, but I can literally make edits right here within the canvas, which you cannot do in a normal chat. These are some powerful features.